Welcome everyone to IDTechVlog. My name is Neil, and in this video blog, I'm going to be reviewing devices for K-12 schools. Today, let's start with everyone's favorite tablet, iPads. Let's take a look at your budget. When it comes to cost, iPads aren't cheap. If your school doesn't have a big technology budget, iPads may not be the choice for you, especially if you're planning on having a one-to-one technology program. On the other hand, Apple does have education pricing, which may help influence your decision. I'll provide a link below in the description. Applications may or may not have an additional cost, depending on what apps you plan on using. Another thing to keep in mind is if you plan on using this with other technology, you'll most likely need to use it with other Apple products. I'll discuss this more later when I talk about the usability. Now that we're done with the budget, let's talk about the usability of iPads. First of all, Apple products work really well with one another, so if you're planning on having an Apple TV in your classroom, iPads may not be a bad idea. iPads are also very user-friendly, so if you've got younger individuals using the iPads, it won't be so hard for them to learn how to use them. Also, technical support is a big plus with iPads because they have support numbers you can call, or you can just take your iPad to the Apple Store. Now, in terms of education, the iPad has many educational apps you can find on the App Store. Let's check some of them out. Let's start by looking at everyone's favorite ebook app, Kindle. Kindle has a vast amount of books in their store. I've personally gotten most of my textbooks from the Kindle store. The Kindle app has additional features to help the readers. While in a book, tap on the screen and you'll see a menu box appear. You can now use the search function to find keywords or tap on the menu bar at the top left-hand side to do things like look at the table of contents or create flashcards. You can also highlight by long pressing a word, dragging the beginning and end markers to the text you want to highlight, and clicking on a color to highlight it. Let's look at an educational game. Many teachers may not realize just how fun and effective educational games can be. This one is called Word Whistle. This game builds a student's vocabulary and puzzle skills by addressing a concept and having the students find words hidden in the letters that correspond with the word. Let's try it out. Those were easier levels. Let's try something harder. There you have it. Educational games can be pretty engaging. These are just two of the many apps you can get on the iPad that can be used for students or teachers. There are plenty of other applications that can be used in the classroom, such as online classrooms, organizational apps, and many more. Now let's compare the iPad to other devices. When it comes to tablets, there's so many choices out there, and there are a lot of tablets that are cheaper than the iPad. If your school doesn't have the budget for iPads, even with the education discount, they may not be for you. I would recommend this device over others because of its ease of use, great technical support, and the ability to work well with other devices. The iPad can connect with other Apple devices such as the Apple Watch or Apple TV. For example, if you have an iPad and want to stream a video on an iPad to your Apple TV, you can use the built-in streaming tool AirPlay to stream to the Apple TV. We'll talk more about this in a future episode. When it comes to determining if this device is for you, I find it's important to keep a few things in mind. First off, consider why this device over others. Is it more user-friendly? Does it have more features that another device doesn't have? Next, you have to consider if there's educational discounts and if those will influence your decision to purchase the device. One of the most important things to consider is if the school believes that the device will justify the cost. By this I mean, what's the return value on the student's education? Will this device really motivate and facilitate learning? Finally, consider if the devices will be incorporated and will make an impact in your learning activities. Now that I've given you some things to think about, further explore and see if iPads are the device for your school. This is IDTechVlog. See you next time.